Hi everyone, it's Kieran with Thrifted Living, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Today I have Shawn in the video with me because we have an exciting announcement to make. Would you like to make the announcement?
Yeah, sure. We are closing on our house this week.
Yay!
Finally.
So we have an official closing date. It
yes.
is this week. Should we say what day it is?
It's Friday this week.
It's Friday this week at 2 p.m.
That means nothing to you.
I know. I just get like, I don't know, like
to them.
I wanted it to be like a surprise.
Today's Sunday, so we have all week to
prepare and actually
yeah.
Really it's just like to wait.
Yeah.
Right? There's not really a whole lot we have to do. But we wanted to come on here and sort of explain everything that has happened with the house and just the sale of our house and the purchase of this one, because I had hoped to be able to share a lot of stuff on my channel about the whole process.
There's been some confusion. Yeah,
there's been some confusion on why I'm sharing videos now versus when they were actually happening. And so I just sort of wanted to come on here and talk with you guys about sort of what happened from beginning to end. And obviously we're not at the end yet, but
right, but everything looks like it's good to go.
Yeah, it looks like it's good to go. So let's just start at the beginning, I guess, right?
The whole process. So
yeah.
We decided that we wanted a bigger house. We liked our house. It was just that it was getting where, you know, people would come over for holidays, things like that, and there just wasn't enough room for everyone. And we'd have parties in the summer, and in the summer it kind of worked out okay because we had outdoor space, but it was still, if it was really hot, Finn is like...
Sorry, Finley just rolled on his back and was like this. So sorry, okay, go ahead. But if it was really hot, we wouldn't have a place for people to go.
Right, because, I mean, we had AC inside, but so people would want to go inside. It was just, there was just not a lot of room.
So we decided... Oh.
Yeah, so we decided we wanted something bigger, so we chose to sell our house. Probably maybe a little sooner than we had thought. When we moved in, when we bought the house, we were like, oh, we didn't feel like that was going to be where we were living long term. We
had done some projects in the house with the hopes that we would be able to make it a longer term space. You guys watched
still nothing. I don't think we ever thought like it was going to be like our forever home.
But you guys were able to watch the home renovation, like of the attic that we did, and we had possibly thought about putting turning the breezeway into a dining room, and we just decided after we did the upstairs that that was pretty much the only project we were going to be able to do there that would add value to our home, and it would be worth our investment.
The investment would, the value would outweigh the investment. And because after doing, like, looking into how much it would cost us to add a dining room or open the space up, things like that, we were realizing pretty quickly the projects weren't anything that we were going to be able to redeem that value.
So we decided to sell, and we listed the house. We listed the house in May, and it sold within 3 days, and 2 or 3 days. And so we had been looking for houses. We showed a little bit of that to you guys in a video, and I have a couple more videos that I want to share with you. I'm hoping to try this week to share them, just of what house hunting stuff we have done so far. But we were hunting for a house before we sold, and then we were hoping to be able to be in contract with something before our house sold, and that just didn't happen. It sold so quickly. But then we did find a house. So our house sold in 3 days, like beginning of May? Yeah, beginning of May. And so our house sold really quickly, and then we were looking for a house, and
we found one.
And we found one, and that's the one that when I shared with you originally that we sold our house, I shared that video with you guys the day I think we moved into my dad's, because that's where we are right now. Yeah, but when
we moved in here, we were under the assumption that we were going to be buying this other house, and
which was scary because we had been only looking in our city. We had only been looking in the city we live in now, and that's where we wanted to stay. And after we couldn't find something for quite a while, I think you guys saw in the last video, and I'll make sure to link everything above that I have so far. I think you guys saw our frustration in the last video where we were just saying, like, you know, the houses aren't here, they're not in our price range, they're not what we want. And so we opened up our field of searching a little bit.
And we found a house a couple towns over that it's a beautiful
loved.
house.
It was gorgeous. It was like
a really, like, we were like after we went and looked at it, we were like, we could have this house. Like,
yeah. And
wow, it was a very nice house.
So we put an offer in. I feel like we're gonna have to be careful with how exactly we say it, because let's just say it wasn't the most.
It was a little more
warm and fuzzy experience. That you could
and it
have.
was a little more expensive than what we wanted to spend, but we were like, well, for as nice as this house is,
we're gonna pay.
It makes sense, yeah.
And this house in our city would have been like $50,000 more. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it was like, okay, do we stay here and get something smaller and less of what we want, or do we go a little further out, get more of what we want, and still pay less, but we would have to commute? And so we decided to give it a try. And,
yeah, because it was a really nice house, and
it felt right, ish at the time.
I mean, there was nothing about the house that we didn't like, aside from the location.
Everything else was perfect. Everything else was literally perfect.
Oh, and the price was a little high.
The price was on the higher end. We felt like we had looked at our budget and looked at what we want and felt like it was at the top.
It was like, this is a house we can make work for. I mean, it's a beautiful house. So
and it was
in order to get a house like that,
right,
we're going to have to spend at least that much.
We were willing to spend like the top of our budget for a house that checked off everything on our list. And we just felt like this one did.
Right. And so we got the inspection done. Then we found out a couple things during that. We
were under contract, and we just feel like respecting the privacy of the other people that are in this whole situation, which is another thing I want to talk about, because people were upset that I didn't share videos and pictures of houses
of the insides of houses,
in the house hunt, and even the outsides. I want to respect the privacy of the people that are living in these homes. There are pictures of real people in these homes, and
just about every house we looked at still had people living in it.
It was just our decision to talk about it and share.
It's one thing to have them post pictures online of their house that they chose to be up there, but it's another thing for us to walk in there with a camera and record all this video. And so we just decided,
nitpick and then critique. I felt more comfortable critiquing it.
I would not like it if somebody came in our house with a camera and did that.
So I just we wanted to be able to share with you our opinions on the house, and so we felt like it was either share pictures with you and not talk about what we were really thinking, or talk about what we were really thinking and not share pictures with you.
Right.
Anyway, that was a whole thing. But to respect the privacy and, you know, to respect the other people that own this current house, there was something wrong with the house that was over $1,500. And
in the state of New York.
And in the state of New York, you can renegotiate after $1,500. So if there's something that comes up on the inspection that is more... one item that needs to be replaced or whatever, that's over $1,500, then you can renegotiate. So there was one item that was over $1,500, and it was significantly over $1,500.
And we were like, okay, well, we still like the house,
so let's negotiate.
But we were very steadfast on what we wanted, and they came back with a different offer, and we said, no, this is what we want. And they came back with another offer, and we said, no, this is what we want. And we couldn't agree on it. And honestly, we were fine with it. I mean, we were irritated that we had spent so much time focused on that house, because we were under contract for that house for at least a month.
A month.
And we had already moved out of our house, and
we were waiting on all of the negotiation.
Yeah.
And we were at my dad, you know, we were at my dad's, and it just was like, it was just so back and forth. And at one point we just were like, this isn't gonna happen. And honestly, it sort of felt like for a while like we were trying to push ourselves through something, because in my gut, like, to be completely honest, it never felt 100% right. I always felt uneasy about something, and I wish I had just...
the location or the price. It was
for
something.
me, it was the location.
Just like something's...
For me, it was the location.
It had to be a combination, a little bit of the both, is all I'm saying. But like, because for me, it was more the price, but also somewhat the location as well.
So we finally backed out
of it. Forget it.
And our lawyer wrote the contract and everything, and our realtor talked with the people, and we backed out. And so we were at square one again. And
that was fine.
It was frustrating.
It was frustrating, but...
You were more fine with it than I was. I've really struggled this whole time with feeling like I don't know where home is, you know? And it's been interesting because Finley, oh no, he's gonna bark. Come here, baby, come here. Finley's gonna join the video. I don't know if you'll be able to see him. Oh, there he is. Hey, Finn. Finley's excited about his new house. But it's been hard for me because I was going to share it with you guys in a video before, but in the moving process, but I didn't. But when I was in my early 20s, we lost our home, and my family has moved around a few times. So like, I've always sort of struggled with like where home is, and feeling like a certain house is home. And I guess the house that we had before, our first house, sort of felt like that. And so I really struggled with moving and just feeling like I didn't know where home was. And so it helped me when we were in contract with this first house before our house sold, because I felt like, okay, here, this is where we're going. This is going to be the new home. This is it. But then that was gone, and it just, I felt really like chaotic. You know, I just didn't feel like comfortable, you know, and I was like, where are we ever going to find a house,
right.
You know? And so for me, that's why I haven't been sharing a ton on here recently on YouTube, because I just haven't felt good, you know, mentally, emotionally. I just have felt not right, and I just wanted to take some time to sort of process, you know, all of that. I mean, and we're very lucky that we have a place to stay. We've been really lucky, and it's been good to get to really know my dad and my stepmom, and it's been a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure. And but it had gotten to the point where we're starting to look at all these other houses. We did end up putting an offer in on another house in our city.
After we looked at a bunch, so there was a long amount of time between the house.
Several houses, and things were either way too expensive or not at all.
Needed way too much work or something.
And we're not complaining about that, you know what I mean? About, you know, a house that might need a little work, like if that's just how it is, you know what I mean? But definitely, like,
so we found this house.
We were having a very hard time finding something. So we found a house.
This is house number 2.
House number 2. We did find a house in our city that we did like.
It had some really cool things about it. It was really big. It had 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
3 bedrooms, 3 bed.
3 beds, 3 baths.
3 bed, 2.5 bath.
3 beds, 2.5 baths. A decent little yard.
Plus an apartment.
A 3rd floor apartment, which I was like, that could become thrifted living space.
Yeah, but it was sketchy. And they had done a lot of renovations, but they didn't do them very well.
Yeah, so everything was sort of shaky. And
it would have had to been redone.
And then the back of the house was, the siding needed to be replaced, or something needed to be done with it. It just looked like not in the best condition.
There was a pool, but there no longer is a pool.
And they pulled it out.
Like a big, not a hole, but like
a lower area of the yard. You can definitely
tell where the pool was. So we offered them what we would be willing to pay for it.
Which was decent. It was a decent amount below asking.
We ended up not getting that house.
Because they countered with full asking, and we countered with
a new offer.
And they rejected our offer.
And so we realizing, okay, we need to start looking in other areas. Kieran and I start arguing.
Yeah, more. Literally, like,
I'm of the mindset of like, let's keep our budget where it is, but we need to start looking at other cities, because she had gotten to a point where she's like, I only want to live in this city. Well, which is great. This is my number 1 choice.
And this is where I work, and this is where he works. So I feel like it just makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
For us to, why would we travel if we didn't have to? We're lucky enough to both be working in this city, which doesn't happen that often.
Totally reasonable. But I want
to run into my kids at Walmart. That's what I want.
I also think that my argument was valid.
What, to get us into a house though?
Huh?
Just to get us into a house? Or to become a member of a different community?
That we could find a house in our price range that we were happy with in another town, like 1 town over. I think that's a reasonable.
Nope.
It was.
Nope. Anyway.
But yeah, she would get mad at me if I wouldn't budge on what our budget was, because that was her thing. She's like, we're just gonna have to spend more money to get what we want. And I'm like, well, we can spend what we want, but we can do it a town over. So that was the argument, the daily argument. We both felt like we were right.
We both were right. We both had valid parts of our argument.
You literally just said no.
Huh?
You literally just said no to what I said.
But we both were right. Right?
It doesn't matter now.
This is what happened when we got our house, and it goes pretty quick, so let me explain it to you.
Where are you starting?
I'm starting after the rejection from that other house. Okay, so we had this house that was we gave them a low offer, and they rejected it.
Right.
So I was in my classroom doing a bunch of work, which, by the way, I'm going to post a new video on my new YouTube channel, The World in Our Classroom. It's going to be part of my classroom tour, so if you want to check that out, I've linked the channel below. Okay, so I'm in my classroom, we get the text notification that our offer's been rejected, and I'm just so like...
Fine. Like, no, it was like, well, it was frustrating.
I was frustrated.
But I was also like, I kind of didn't want that house anyway.
Right, I was like, okay, like, so they're telling, like, whatever, you're telling me that my offer's not fine and whatever, but like, anyway, just frustrating. So our realtor who's been working for us so hard. She's just been absolutely amazing. She gave us a heads up on a house. So she was like, do you want to go look at it? And we're like, sure. So she sent us a picture of it, and it was so cute.
And we were like, oh.
We were like, is this it? Is this the house? This might be the house for us. And
it was one town over.
Yeah.
But it was on a direct line back into town.
So,
like literally, even though it was one town over, my commute would have been shorter just because of where I work. It was like, so.
And one house that we had looked at the very beginning of our house hunting experience.
House that we had looked at,
it was actually right next door to this one.
Yeah, so we knew we liked the neighborhood.
But it had a pool, it had a 2-car garage, it had 4 bedrooms, I think, 2 bathrooms. Like, it was cute, at least from the outside. And so we're like, okay, like, let's go look at it. So she gets us in that day, and we look at it, and it's very cute from the outside. And it was okay on the inside. It had a little fenced in area.
It had a fenced yard. A partially fenced yard.
Yeah, like a little kennel
spot. And a pool, which, I could take or leave a pool.
But it was really cute from the outside, and we're like,
yeah,
this house had really nice curb appeal, and it was in our price range, and we were like, oh, okay, like this is what this house made us wait for this house, you know, like getting rejected from this one house had us wait for this house to come on the market.
We knew taxes were a little high in this area, and they vary so much just by neighborhoods, even within a city. So we knew the taxes were a little high. It was oil heat, which we didn't want to do.
It was a lot. It was a lot of factors.
Nothing against oil heat. We just didn't. We've never had it, so we were like, we want to stick with what we know.
But anyway, so there were all these factors, and it made us sort of wait to really put an offer in. And so
we knew we were going to put an offer in, but we really took our time.
Because the thing is, like, the house was in our price range. It was lower on our price range, on the end of our price range, but taxes were so high that it was so much more expensive. Like, even though
the house was cheaper than some of the stuff we had looked at, our monthly mortgage payment, because we do our taxes in escrow, would have been more than
a lot. It would have been a lot.
Houses.
But, and so all of that to say, throughout this whole thing, I feel like this video is going to be back and forth, but the first house was just on the top end of our price range. And so once we were sort of forced to not get that one, we really evaluated what was important to us. And something that's important to us is feeling comfortable in our mortgage and feeling like we're not struggling to pay the bills. We both have student debt, and we both have, you know, all these other expenses. And so we just decided we could pay to get more house, but we just didn't feel like it was the best decision for us. So for this house, we kept on thinking, this is just going to put us in almost the same exact situation that the first house put us in, and is that the best idea?
It wasn't as nice of a house.
No, it wasn't.
So I was like, well, that's kind of frustrating.
So we were sort of dragging our feet,
but we were still
all within 24 hours.
Yeah, we were very slowly moving forward.
But like, I went to the bank and I got I got the check from the bank. You know, what they call it, good faith
check.
It's like, you know, $1,000 or something that you put down with your offer. And so I had it made out to their realty company and everything, and I was like, all right.
We had asked how much the utility bills were and things like that.
We got all this information.
Like, yeah, we're gonna put an offer in.
We're ready to go. And then I'm downstairs, like, doing like cleaning or something like that. I can't remember, because that's where we're staying at my dad's. We stay downstairs, and I get a notification about this house, and I was like, oh, it's in our city and it's in our price range. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you know, let's just look at this house, or I'll see what this listing was. And I was like, okay, like, this is pretty nice. And so we messaged the realtor, and we're like, oh, and I messaged you, and you were like, are you serious? Like,
why'd you even ask me? Like, let's go look at
it. Yeah. So then she was like, I'll get you in right away. And so it was listed at like, it went live on Zillow or Trulia at like 4 p.m. and by 4:30 we already had an appointment for the following day at 4:30. But I said to my realtor, I was like, these things just go so fast in our city right now, that
we had a feeling this one
we had a feeling. So we're like, hey, could you try to get us in at like 11:30 instead of 4?
I'll take a long lunch, I don't care.
Yeah, like, get us in, because my thought was, if we liked it, she could write up the offer, and then we could just be good to go.
Done and over with.
So she was like, yeah, and so she got us in, and they were the family was super accommodating, and I went to the bank and had the check and everything all printed out, ready to go. So we had 2 checks out at the same time for both of these houses because we wanted to see this second one before we made a decision between the 2.
Right.
And so we went there and
it was a very easy decision.
It was home.
Yeah.
So that's the house we're moving into.
Which you will see plenty of. Probably not, you won't see it in this video.
No, you won't see any of it now. We just went in it and we were like, this is the house we've been waiting for. Everything that has happened so far in this process had us wait for this house. And it's perfect. There are some projects, not many though.
Yeah, but nothing
too serious.
Nothing major. Nothing that we're gonna be like, oh no, we can't really do this until we do this.
It only has one, so it's 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a 2-car garage.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I was getting to it before. Like, that's the one thing, is that it has 1 bathroom.
So one of the projects that we want to do is add a bathroom.
See if we can add even a half bath on the first floor.
We're trying to figure out something.
I'm a little.
We don't know if it's gonna work.
We don't think it can work with the current space, but
our contractor's gonna come and help us try to figure it out. So so that's that, and then there is a 3rd floor attic that I'm hoping to make into thrifted living space. Maybe. Shawn and I are sort of like disagreeing about it right now, but leave a comment below. Do you guys think that I should
that's not fair. They're gonna say.
Leave a comment below and let me know. Do you think that we should make the 3rd floor into thrifted living space?
All right. To be fair, what she's asking is, should we move into this house and then immediately spend thousands of dollars to convert our 1 storage space into another room?
Because the basement is finished and it's going to be Shawn's man cave. He's
True.
getting his own space.
True.
I need to have my own space.
You know what? Take the basement. You can have it.
I don't want the basement.
Well, then what am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to use the basement.
I have to, and if I don't use it, then I'm going to get told, like, well, you have all this space and you're not using it.
Anyway, it has a tiny little fenced-in yard. Okay, so it's not like, and I'm just going to explain this. We're getting a lot less yardage than we had in our old house.
Oh, yeah, but
we're going from a country-like setting to a city-like setting, which is normally like the opposite way people go, but it's just what we want.
Yeah.
We just are, we're more city people than country people.
And this is a yard space where I'll actually use more of.
Yeah, it's much more manageable for you and for me mowing it. It would
take
no time.
It's so funny. The whole time we lived in the last house, we're like, oh, we really got to get a riding lawnmower.
Now I'm glad we didn't.
Now I'm glad we didn't, because it would be ridiculous if we bought one.
It's gonna take 40 minutes to mow that entire space.
Yeah, and
not
like
even.
Weed whack and stuff. Yeah.
It has a fenced-in yard for Finn. It has a dining room, which is really what we wanted. We really wanted a dining room. We want a dining room table. A place where everybody can sit. Yeah, a place for people to be and to gather, and I guess it's good trick-or-treating area. Yeah, for the past 4 years, we've gone out and bought full-size, like, candy bars, as many as we could, and within reason. Yeah. Just, for the few trick-or-treaters that we would get on our street, we would give them, as long as it was okay with their parents, we would give them like handfuls of full-size we would tell them, like, especially like if it was like almost time to wrap up and we still had all this candy, we would just say to the parents, like, they can take as many as they want. Yeah, right. Like, or you can take. Like, and sometimes the parents were like, "That's okay," which I totally get. But sometimes the parents were like, "Sure." Yeah, right. Thank you. Go nuts. We're really excited. It just feels like everything that's happened so far in this process has led us to this house, and it's just the perfect house. And we're closing on Friday. Yeah. And we're really excited, and I can't wait to share all of the moving in stuff with you guys and decorating. It'll be awful. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, but we're actually gonna call a moving company and see if maybe they can help us. See if they can help out. Yeah, I guess a lot of people are doing that. I have a friend that's also closing on her house tomorrow, which is really exciting. So that is pretty much the entire story of how everything went down. So if you're confused as to why you're seeing houses, but you're like, I thought they did buy a house. We did, and I wanted to share it with you, but then everything just became so overwhelming. I felt like I could have shared it with you all, but I wasn't happy. I was just miserable for a while. I also wanted to make sure that we knew everything was moving forward. Like, we've had the rug pulled out from under us a couple times now. And we just don't want to share. We didn't want to share that with you guys and just be like, oh wait, never mind. Never mind. We wanted to wait until everything was good and we felt like we're on a definite path, and and this house was inspected and we had no problems. There are a couple things that need to be addressed, but nothing over $1,500. Nothing any normal house
isn't going to have.
It's the perfect size. It's the perfect location. It's
what we wanted.
Yay. So we just waited for that. So thank you so much for watching, and let us know in the comments below if you have any questions about the process and any suggestions for moving in and how we should tackle things, what we should tackle first.
Get to see it soon.
Yes, very soon. I'm hoping maybe Monday, maybe a week from, I'm gonna post this video on a Monday, maybe a week from Monday, even just a little footage of it on the inside.
Yeah.
Just so you can get a little sneak peek. Because I want to do an empty house tour so you guys can see what it looks like before we move in.
Right, which we are doing a walkthrough beforehand too, so you can...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And this house is called a colonial style.
Yeah.
We lived in a cape before, and this is a colonial. It's 2 floors. It has a staircase, a proper staircase. We had one too, but like this has like a Christmas staircase and a spot for a Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's good. I'm very excited.
Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out my blog at thriftedlivingblog.com. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram because I'm going to be sharing the first pictures of the house.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
On probably Friday.
Probably Friday. I wait till Friday.
Yeah, because
they still technically own it
until we sign the paper. Yeah. But we are doing a walkthrough on Wednesday evening, so that's just us checking to make sure that nothing was damaged in the move. So follow me on Instagram at thriftedliving or on Facebook at thriftedliving page, and that's where I'm going to be posting the first pictures of the new house. So I'll probably be posting those on Friday.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye.